My name is Todd Baldwin. I am 30 years old. I live in Seattle, Washington with my wife and our new son. I reached my FIRE number when I was 28, and I'm at the point where literally I get up in the morning and I can do whatever I want as long as the baby's happy. Well, now the baby is a little bit different.
I can do the other one.
I come from humble beginnings, I come from a poor family. I knew that I wanted financial independence, and even more than that, I knew that I wanted to make millions and millions of dollars. I grew up in a small town called Sequim, Washington. I was raised by a single mother. She was married to a really bad guy. Unbeknownst to her, instead of paying the mortgage every month, my father would basically just take all of the money and spend it on drugs and gambling and nonsense. And so the bank decided to take the house back. She started over with nothing, and we would have been homeless, but we had friends and family and a church community that really helped us out. I knew at a very early age that I wanted something different for my family. I got my first job when I was 12 years old, shoveling horse poop for $3 an hour. When I was 15, I started a landscaping business, and my biggest client was this guy who owned a bunch of real estate. So that was always something that I knew I wanted to do. It was way more than a 9 to 5 when I first started because I was working 17 hours a day. But being in that industry was quite lucrative. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that was a huge game changer for me because it taught me assets, liability, cash flow, all of those things, and this idea that you could make money while you were sleeping. You don't get paid based on how hard you work. You get paid based on your perceived value to the marketplace and also through investment. So I doubled down on real estate. House hacking makes so much sense. I know people shake their heads at having roommates and they think they can't do it. I'm here to tell you, you can do it and it is worth it. Just put a timeline on it. You're not gonna live with roommates forever. I could buy my own house and pay off my own mortgage, or I could have other people pay off my mortgage. And so by living in a house and having roommates and my roommates paying off my mortgage for me, that was the smartest thing financially speaking. Frankly, it was a brilliant strategy that made me a millionaire when I was 25. And so I left my 6-figure salary to go full-time as an entrepreneur. I had 40 tenants. I was bringing in around $40,000 per month in rent. This is my current house. I bought it in 2019 for $900,000. We rent out the other half of the duplex, and we converted the far garage spot into a studio apartment with a graffiti wall, and it's super sick, and we rent that out as well. We used to rent this out for $1,000 a month. Now it's a bit messy because it's a nursery. I was able to retire when I was 28 years old. At that point, I had a net worth of about $1.7 million. I was bringing in about $13,000 per month in profit in passive income. And I basically didn't need to work anymore because I was living on less than $13,000. And as long as your monthly cash flow is greater than your monthly expenses and you don't have to work for that money, then you are financially free. Time in the schedule, just make sure we get everything done. Retirement for me just means getting up every day and doing what I love. And what I love just happens to be investing in real estate. My wife is a CPA. She does the books for all of our real estate and any other business venture that I have going on. So she works really hard at her job and she does have a 6-figure salary.
And just having a good mix of Todd doing the entrepreneurial stuff that can be very lucrative but inconsistent, and then me having a very consistent paycheck, health insurance, all that stuff. For us, that's just a good mix.
Most of my income at this point is coming from my wholesaling business. Basically what that is, if there are people that want to sell their properties but they don't want to list it on the MLS, they don't necessarily want to hire a realtor, they can basically have someone like me get that property on assignment, and then what I do is I market it but with a margin. So I raise the price, and then if I sell it, I collect that difference. My second ever wholesale deal, I was able to make $100,000 in 47 hours. A little side tip for anyone who has a baby, the IRS lets you hire your baby tax-free for $1,000 a month. Well, then I can take half of his salary, so $6,000, and I can fully fund his Roth IRA So by the time he graduates high school, he could have $1 million in his retirement account before his life has really even started. We are gonna go hard on our dream house. A bowling alley and a movie theater and all the things, right? So I am spending a lot of money on that. The other day we got this stuff from this company who does custom built sports courts. And so we're gonna do a pickleball court because we're nerds, with a basketball hoop though, because we're also cool. And we got all these colors, so we'd like to do a custom sports court. Ange doesn't care too much about this, but I want our last name, like on either side in big block letters. She thinks it's a little cheesy.
I think it's cheesy.
And I'm also retiring my mom. So my mom's gonna have a little guest cottage that she's gonna get to live in. This is what we've worked so hard for. All right, and I think something missing in the fire community is that it's gotta be leading to something, right? Because you can't be on top ramen forever and have no enjoyment. We're gonna put our main house right over here, and then the mother-in-law cottage will be further down on the lot, and then the infinity pool, the sports court, all that stuff will be sort of out there facing the water.
He has sailboats on his outfit.
Oh yeah, he does. We almost ended up homeless, and it was through friends and family and people at the church community that helped us find a little rental place. So the fact that I can now buy a mansion on the water and build a house for my mom is unreal. It is absolutely unbelievable. I'm very humbled by this experience, and I remind myself every day how lucky I am. The biggest challenge of my life will be to figure out how to make it so my son and any other children that we have are not spoiled brats. Because yes, I grew up very poor. My children are going to grow up in a life of luxury and they're going to be very privileged. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make sure that they don't take it for granted and they understand the blessing that they've been given.